Hello, everyone. Welcome to Make a Point. And before I go on, let me just appreciate everybody for tuning in to this channel every Sunday. And I want to appreciate you, those who sign up during the week to NYCPC channel platform, the volunteers. I really want to appreciate you. So let's get it started. Stop being aimless. Aimlessness and distractions have taken away human virtues from many individuals. The result of aimlessness in one's life are oftentimes attributed to adversaries. However, what we fail to realize is that adversaries are one of the odds that come with our existence as humans. They are positioned indirectly to keep us on our toes to become the best that we can be. The impediment to action advances action, and what stands in the way becomes the way. So before you shift the blames for your misfortune to the unseen forces, have you first examined the level of your distraction and aimlessness? If you need tranquility, do that thing in your hands like your life depends on it. What we do today is not only for the future. The process of doing it represents our virtues and should also come along with happiness. Hold on to that thing in your hands diligently and keep pushing on. Have a set goal. Stop jumping from pole to pole in the name of survival. That skill that you have, if it is well enhanced, it is enough for you to become whoever you want to become in life. So, take a chance and make a change. I am Prince AJ, and I just want to make a point. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for still staying tuned on NYCPC Tv. This is the roadmap to a new Nigeria. I'd like to remind us that this program is sponsored by Nigeria Youth Coalition for Positive Change, aka One Era Movement. And today we shall be talking about the decadences in our healthcare system. We put on our post during the week that we want people to join this conversation because our plan is to have everybody input in this programming. For so many years, we have all been agitating for good governance and for a level of improvement when it comes to the welfare of we the citizens. So for some months, we've been looking at things that are causing these problems and challenges in our society. We talked about education and the problem in our educational system, and now we're starting to, look at the healthcare system. Like, what are the problems that we're facing as an entity? What are the problems that we are facing in the country? And we will be bringing people to this platform to talk more about this, medical practitioners and all of that. We'll be bringing them to join this conversation. But we just want to have opening to this program, to this topic, and we want everybody to have an input. So the comment section is open, and if you have something to say, there's going to be a link that will be shared on this channel that you can link up and join me so we can have this conversation in the right direction. So many of us have had some bitter experience when it comes to our health system, healthcare system, so to say. Bad, bitter taste, bitter experiences that when you start asking people what are their experiences, it will be saddening because a lot of things has happened over the years, and these are one of the things that are really contributed negatively to the narrative of our society. Even now, most people don't believe in our healthcare system. I was talking to somebody recently, like, oh, you need to go for medical checkup. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go. That I'm okay, I will manage. Because if I go, it might be something else that, different stories of people are going to, seek for healthcare attention. At the end of the day, they lost their life in the process. So we're not blaming the healthcare giver, but we want to look at the whole system entirely. Why is it that our leaders or most of our wealthy individual in the society do not believe in this system, and most of them choose to travel outside of the country for healthcare, healthcare services. So if you're joining this program, this is the roadmap to a new Nigeria where we discuss about things that are causing setback to us in the society, in the country as a whole. So we've been talking about things. We've talked about like look, just like I just said earlier. I talked about education, the decadence in our educational system. We try to find out the problem that has led us to where we are when it comes to our education, and what we can do going forward. And we're kickstarting this conversation again, which has to do with our healthcare system. So, what do you think is wrong with this system? Why is it that people are losing their faith in our healthcare system? Is it because the welfare of these health workers are not well taken care of? Could this be one of the contributing factors? Uh, is it the kind of healthcare facilities that we have in our healthcare centers that are not up to date, that has actually led to people uh, failing to have faith in these settings? So we're throwing the channel open today so that we can all run minds together. Talk about uh, what are the things that you think is contributing to this uh, uh, losing of faith in our healthcare system. So okay, so like I said, we are opening this channel today for us to brainstorm. Why I will be waiting patiently for people to comment, as we're waiting for people to come online, so that we can all, talk about it. Over the years, we see how people believe in going to the private institution when it comes to health facilities. People don't trust the public centers anymore, like healthcare centers, the health centers, the general hospitals, state hospitals, and all of that. People don't trust going there anymore, and sometimes they choose to go to private hospitals. Now, why are we losing this faith in this system, in these settings? Are we not getting the adequate services that we deserve? I'm just throwing the question out today. I'm not saying, I'm not going to say anything like in the clear view. I'm just trying to put a light on how the conversation is going to go. Why are people losing faith in our healthcare system? and what has contributed to the decadence in this healthcare system in the nation. Like, what can we do? Is everything, are we going to blame the government alone for the misfortune of our healthcare system, or we have to blame the personnel that are saddled with this responsibility of, handling this healthcare system? So I want us to just, rub mind as a patriotic youth of the country to see, where the problem is. We all have different experiences. We all have a different taste of this whole thing. So how do you feel about it? So what do you think about it? Is it because we have the wrong personnel? Is it because the government is not taking good care of the healthcare workers, or maybe no financial input into this healthcare section sector, so to say, or what has contributed to the decadence in general view? So we welcome any form of contributions. If you want the video contributions, the link will be shared here. Just show your interest that you want to come online, make a good point, and I'll put you up. You can talk about it. Like I said earlier, we're going to be bringing people who are in this sector, who knows much about everything that is happening in and out on this show, on this channel, and in weeks to come. And we're going to be talking about things that has led to this decadence and what we can do and the effect on the society. What has was this problem? What is the impact of this problem on the society? People losing faith in the system. People losing faith in all the settings. So, what can we say is the problem? So I know some people will say, well, everything is our leaders, is our government, is our this, but there are some aspect that is beyond our leaders. I'm just talking from another perspective now. Now we know we have low input into this healthcare sector, and but what about the personnel in charge of this healthcare system? How do they treat people? What are the approaches? I was speaking with somebody in the meeting last 2 weeks, and he was telling me that many of these personnels in our healthcare sectors are having their private institution, private healthcare, like hospitals and all of their health centers, and they are putting all their energy into these private businesses of theirs. Then they want their primary objective. Well, I said that couldn't have led to the decadence anyway, because I believe if you are well treated, you can prove me wrong, though. But if I believe if you get the best treatment in your place of work, you will be committed to it. If the government are taking good care of you, you know, your welfare is prioritized, and you having a very good environment to disseminate your duties, and facilities are there for you to lay your hands on. You will be compelled to do your part. So I for one told my colleague that I don't think uh, having private institution or private hospitals or private healthcare center as uh, I know it's a result of the lackadaisical approach from the government to that system, but it is not a yardstick for the decadence in the system. So many complaints about the facilities, which we all know. There are no facilities, there are no healthcare facilities and all that. Even the kind of uh, buildings, infrastructural settings that we have in our healthcare sector is nothing to write home about. It's nothing to write home about. So, what do you think, as an individual? What do you think are the major problem of this sector? Uh, if you're just joining me on this show, this is Nigeria Youth Coalition for Positive Change, NYCPC, and it's a platform where we all talk about things that are contributing negatively to our society, to the country at large, and what we can do to change the narrative as a patriotic entity. And that's the main reason why we have this channel put together, so that we can all talk about things to do, things to look out for, and brainstorm on what to do to achieve our new country, a new Nigeria, indivisible Nigeria, what we can do to achieve it. How can we prioritize the welfare of our citizens? What can the government do, and what can we as individuals do to make sure that things goes the right way? Is there any way that we can change the narrative around the healthcare givers? How can we, what can we do to change the narrative around them, around the personnels in our healthcare? It's saddening when you are sick and you don't have money to take yourself to a uh, uh, private healthcare center, and you just manage to go to the public or the government care centers like the general hospital or the state hospital and all of that. And the kind of treatment you get, from people that are supposed to give you healthcare to provide healthcare services to you. The way they talk to you, the approach, you feel sorry that you're sick. You know, some hard way they're gonna open you to, like, you come in there, you're sick and you need care, you need attention. That's why you're accessing that facility. But the way people are being treated sometimes in this public organization, the way they talk to people, especially those who are sick, the way they make you look bad, you know, for being sick, the stress they take you through. Sometimes the stress they take you through, like, are you coming in, you want to get yourself treated, and you're tired. You might be compelled to go from one department to the other to go get this, get that. When it's time for you to get your medication, you have to go this, you start walking around, and nobody really put this care. Like the passion for this job is missing. Even if the government is not doing their own part, we as citizens who are at the receiving hands of all of this, why can't we look out for ourselves? This is not about the leaders now. It's not about the government now. It's about the personnel in our healthcare sectors, the way they react to people, the way they behave to people, the way they talk, they address to people. They are the way and manner they put themselves in front of those who are seeking for their services. If the government is hard on doing their part, you know, like some people are saying the doctors have not been paid for a long time now. Some states, and some states, the workers, their salary have been slashed down due to this economic crisis and all of that. Even if the government fails in their part, we as citizens, we shouldn't be failing ourselves. We shouldn't be failing ourselves. That's what I think from my own point of view. We shouldn't be failing ourselves. If somebody comes for, if someone is sick and comes to the hospital for treatment, I believe there should be some kind of compassion around such individual. I think there should be some kind of hope given back to such individual. I've had my own bitter experiences too, going assessing this public healthcare centers and all of that. And the way you're being treated, the manner that people talk to you, it's something that scares some people off from going to the hospital. People try to unleash the pain from government on sick people. You know, Citizens try to unleash pains from government to fellow citizens. Find this government are also citizens. But let's just say we're going to leave that for another conversation. Or we're going to have an extensive conversation on this in because we're praying and hoping that we can get this government official to come online and this medical practitioners to come online to say their own point of view so we can ask them questions and all of that. But this is just to open up the whole conversation because it might take us a couple of weeks to talk about this and find out the root causes and what we can do to solve this because we need to solve this position. See, I always say this, and I think I mentioned this in one of our series and make a point that uh, uh, people don't define you. The way people behave around you doesn't defines who you are. What you do defines you. Your approaches to people, the way you treat people around you defines your kind of human, defines your kind of personality. So if you find yourself at the place that you have to give to people, that you have to, show care to people, if you cannot express that real you, if you cannot show people how much you care about them, no matter what the difficulties are, because difficulties will always be. There will always be adversaries, there will always be challenges. But in the face of all of this, as a professional, you need to, keep your ground safe, like act in the right way. Because that place, just like what we used to tell our leaders, that place is not forever, it's just for a while. And just the same in the same vein that we say this to our leaders, that same vein is the same we utilize and communicate it to those people, those personnel in these centers. And you cannot be a civil servant forever. You cannot be a medical practitioner forever. There's going to be a time you're going to retire. You're going to be too old to do nothing. So whatever thing you've been able to do, whatever care you've been able to show in your own little way, whatever support you've been able to give to people in your own little way will go a long way in defining your own future, in defining the generation around you. And this boils down to all sectors. Because what I feel is missing is our level of patriotism is really, really lacking behind as a nation. Because if you put someone who is not patriotic into a leadership position, there is tendencies that those individuals we not walk up to par. So if our level of patriotism is missing, if it's lagging behind, we're going to see all this decadence emanate and infiltrate the system entirely. So how can we change the narratives around this our healthcare system in the nation? Now I'm just still talking about the personnel, the approaches, to the way people behave. Don't forget, whoever falls sick, it is not their own doings. Nobody wants to be sick. Nobody wish to go. Like right now, people don't even want to go to the hospital for any checkup because they are scared. Naturally, an average Nigeria don't even go to the hospital for going saying that I'm not sick, I don't want to go, even to check their blood pressure and all of that, because the conditions around this whole centers is not, it's not palatable enough for you to just go and assess it. It's sometimes it comes with a lot of I don't know, like people expressing their emotions in their professional work. Like it doesn't go together. So I've seen people saying foul words to sick people right in my eyes. You don't say that. You don't make people feel bad for their predicaments. You don't make people feel terrible for their predicaments. You've been paid, even if government are owing you money, it's still gonna pay one way or the other, gonna pay you. But those who you are meant to give your services to. They shouldn't be treated like dog or goats, like animals. Even dogs and goats are even being treated well more than some humans sometimes. So the whole thing boils down to the fact that we are all citizens. If we are facing hardship from the hub and we are the receiving hand, we shouldn't be showing, you know, showing ourselves some hard feelings. We shouldn't be, giving ourselves troubles, making life miserable for ourselves. It won't change nothing if you are kind to sick people. It won't change nothing if you give extra care. It only add value to you. I know you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of people abusing your kindness. You've seen a lot of people abusing your, the professional way that you present yourself. People abuse it and all of that. But it doesn't change you. It shouldn't change you. And given all that, we make people keep patronizing you. I'll tell you something. If I happen to go to an healthcare center and I was treated so calmly, I was treated like a VIP. I was treated like somebody who is not even sick. Like, oh, is this how you feel? Oh, okay, okay. Oh, I know it's like that. It happens. It's stress. Sit down. Have you eaten? Okay, you sit down. We're busy now. We're gonna take care of you. You're gonna be fine. This is not a problem. It's something that people, to the kind of you and hardworking individual, people always feel the same. You just need to check yourself sometimes. You need to eat well and all of that. If I could get this from somebody, that would give me reassurance in the system. It will want to make me come back and patronize that place over and over again. But in a situation you're, visiting uh, somewhere like that, and the treatment you get, the way people talk to you, the manner, that not even minding that you are sick. Now, here, you got to sit down. You have to sit there. Don't stand up. Where you going to? If you die, I don't have anything to do with it. This and that. Did you have your card? How can you be coming without no card? And a lot of things. That we need to change these narratives. We need to change this narrative. If we're going to change things, we need to change things from the bottom to the top. Like I said, sometimes in our program, I said we need to change things from the elementary. There are some things we need to introduce into our school curriculum because there is moral decadence in our society. It is a lot, but we can change it so that we can have, the right people mounting up to that podium of leadership. So, like I said, this is just an opener to the conversation on the decadence in the healthcare system in our country. And we still welcome people to talk, comment. If you can come online to live, chat, send your own comment, give your own point, send your questions in so that when we have those personnel in our live program, in our live programming, we can, ask those questions and make sure they give us answer to it. Then we can all see what we can do, how a good country have to look like. Now, this is a roadmap to a new nation. We are talking about things that we should be getting as citizens without costing us money. If our health caregiver can change, can be more professional, let me put it that way, in attending to people, not minding if people are abusing that level of professionalism, and they're still, maintaining their profession, even in the face of whatever might have been happening in the past, you know, rediscovering their passion for the job and trying to do what is right. It will not only help the country or the society or the community, it will help themselves. It's going to help them for the future. Because whatever you do today is waiting for you in the nearest future. So I I wish we can have an open conversation on this because I know people have a lot of things to say when it comes to this, their experiences in this sector. It's some terrible experiences, some terrible experiences. People losing their loved one due to negligence from healthcare workers. It's crazy. I'm not playing games on our healthcare workers. Their job in the society is commendable. I have families who are in that sector, you know, siblings who are in that sector, but I'm not blaming them. But I'm just trying to, address those who are infiltrating the system in a negative way and making people lose interest or have lose faith in this sector. I said earlier, I talked to someone to go to hospital to run a check. I said, hell no, it's not going to go. Why? Because of the approach, the manner, and all of that. The kind of treatment you're going to receive, the way people are going to address you, the way people are going to make you feel bad with your situation. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. But we need to change the narrative. It's an ugly narrative, and that we need to change. And like we always say with One Era Movement, NYCPC, that we are here to change the ugly narrative of this country. And that's why we encourage people of like-minded, patriotic Nigeria to come and join this trend so that we can change this ugly narrative. There are some things we can do that it doesn't even need to involve government input. If we can talk to ourselves, share our experiences, and talk to ourselves and see how we can help ourselves stand up. If we keep showing love to each other, the system, we're going to be trusting the system from the grassroots. We're going to be trusting the system from the grassroots. You know, things are not in the right position that they should be. And it has been like this for many, many decades. We keep saying our country will be good, our country will be better, Nigeria will be fine one day, Nigeria will be fine one day. But yet we're not really seeing the light. But even in the waiting time, in the waiting period, what can we do? Even if our leaders are failing us, even if our leaders have disappointed us with all these promises and fail and all of that, what can we do as an individual that doesn't necessarily need money? How can we encourage ourselves? How can we help ourselves? When it comes to disseminating our duties as civil servants. So, what do you do as a teacher in your school? How do you treat those kids that are not your kids? What kind of information do you pass across to them? Do you bring your emotion from home and unleash them or unleash it on these kids? How do you talk to them? How do you lift their spirits as a teacher? Then from the healthcare sector, how do you treat people? How confidential is people's information with you? I know it's part of the ethics of the profession, but how do you maintain this ethics and value of your job? How do you put this, prioritize this level of professionalism in disseminating your duties as a networker? So we need to change these ugly narratives. We need to see ourselves as our brother's keeper. That whatever we do to each other, there's somebody who's going to be at the receiving end. It might not be now, it might be in the future, because right now you might not be having the impact of your actions now. But there's all tendencies that the impact of your action will come in due course. So, but if you have a way to, if you have a way to show that, to distinct yourself from all this, all of this, if you have a way to, prove yourself differently, Even if people are doing things in the wrong way, if you decide, oh, this is how I want to do my thing, it will make you stand out. We've seen corrupt police officers, and I've seen police officers that have. There was one experience I had that was like maybe almost 15 years ago or 12 years ago. I was driving from Ibadan going to Akure, and I had a flat. I put my spare. I drove like it was middle of the night. It was around 11:30 going to 12, and I was at a point. I had a flat. I changed my flat. I was with a brother, and I put my spare. I didn't drive up to 10 or 5 kilometers. The spare got flat again, and I had to like, what am I going to do? It's the middle of the night, and when I got to, it was a checkpoint with my rim. I drove a little bit with my rim, and it was the police officer on that duty that helped me out. That helped me out. You know, when they saw my tire, they saw me in the distance, and that middle of the night, someone said I was even scared because all the story we had, big experiences from different people. I was a bit scared, but took me like, oh, you can get a tire from the next town. They know someone and all that, and they took me over. I bought a tire, they fixed it right there, they brought me back to my car, and I changed it. That's one of this are set of police officer, doing that. I know it shouldn't be their duty, but they are looking out. And nobody asked me for nothing. After we go back, I fixed my tire and all of that. But are you okay? Okay, just drive safely. So that will go a long way. I'm holding on to that experience with me. And there are a lot of bitter ones too on highway and all of that. Even though with the police officers, well, even with the road safety officers and all of that. Things things not is all this all things all this negative narratives are not only attributed to the leadership position, but it has to do with ourselves. I've been saying this a couple of times that it is what the society breeds that we see in the hands of leadership. If we keep breeding people who are not patriotic in the society, if we are breeding people who lack moral, if we are breeding people who are selfish, who are self-centered, we are breeding people who don't even care about others, you know, and they manage to get to the top, that's the same thing they're going to show to us. So the time is now for us to start seeing ourselves as our own priority. Like if I happen to be a networker, if you come to me, I should be able to give my professional services to you in a way that is going to make you want to come back, in a way that's going to make you want to like, oh, can I give you a tip? It should be in that manner. You know, we the health worker and the health personnel should, the medical practitioner and all of that should try to inculcate and incorporate this system that will make people want to come back. I know you're saying you don't want to keep going to the hospital, but there's some things that they can do, to change the narrative, to take away this fear, to take away this the faith that people are losing in them, the confidence and all of that can bring it back, that can restore it back. We have to change the narratives. It's high time we change this narrative. It's high time because we cannot keep on going on like this. Even if the whole thing is hard at the top, they're not doing what is right. Everybody had to sit down and see what can we do. Fine, we're not getting what we're supposed to get from the top, but how can we, cohabit in the community society level and be our brothers keepers? How can a teacher disseminate his duty professionally, that kids will be like, oh, this school, I cannot forget this school, the way I was treated, this and that, and give accolades to the school, want to bring more people down to the school and all of that. So how do you treat your people? How do you treat sick people that comes to your hospital? How do you talk to them? How do you relate with them? How do you relate with them? The way you relate with them, will you want people to relate with you in that manner? So we have to check this out. We have to check this. We have to try to change this towards ourselves, because we are at the receiving end. Whatever negative thing you do to somebody is lower than you, it's still going to come back to you. And if we are both at the lower level, the receiving end, and we cannot still, give ourselves that level of how would I put this, like level to showcase human feelings, the level to express human feelings towards each other, the level to express our human virtues to each other. It's terrible. It's terrible, because that's the pain over pain over pain. You getting pain from the top, and you getting pain from, and now you are sick, you want to access health centers, you want to access health care services. It's a pain too. Pain over pain. We need to change this narrative. We need to see ourselves as our brother's keeper. We need to change it, because whatever we do now is coming back to us. So that is for personnel in healthcare services, in healthcare sectors. So our government need to change things around. The decadence in our healthcare system is deepening. There are no healthcare facilities any longer that you can, it's crazy. You go to health center, there are no lights, no light. People are sleeping in the darkness with candles, lanterns everywhere. It's nothing to write home about. These are something that little attentions, prioritizing something. The government can't leave the welfare of the citizen. Enough of, we keep talking about road construction. Fine, we need good road construction. We don't even have good road network for donkey of years. No good means of transportation. And we hope that the government will keep improving the way they are doing now, but we cannot neglect one for one. We can just put little attention into all of this. Okay, if you are making a road for people to ply it, and these people are dying in the hospital, who's going to drive on the road? These people run into an accident, no ambulance to come on the highway to pick them up, to take them to the hospital. Even when a good Samaritan, picks somebody up from the scene of an accident, a victim of an accident, and they get to the hospital, how do these people welcome them? You got to get a police report. Somebody died in a pool of blood. You have to leave him to go get police report. And if eventually, if such individual died, this good Samaritan that brought that victim to the hospital is in deep trouble. You have to start facing police and all of this. And this will not even make you want to do good to your fellow human. But if you have the right system, a functioning system, what will it cost to have an emergency centers on our highway, where we know, okay, this area accident are so much rampant on this area. If you can control it, human control, like putting all the real safety measure in this highway, speed breaker and all of that. But if it's not working, and you see that, okay, accident keep occurring, life are being lost on the highway, why can't you introduce an ambulatory services on that highway with a number that people can call in distress? Why can't we prioritize the life of our citizens? These are not too much. We know how much our leaders, we know how much they spend in procuring SUVs for people in the Senate, SUV for people in the House of Representatives. These SUVs, the money for these SUV are enough to buy ambulances on our highway, are enough to set up all these centers on our highway, but people don't even care about the welfare of people. The moment they're able to move from the ordinary position they believe they are in, and they get to this leadership position, they forget where they're coming from. So the government has so much to play in this. It's annoying to see that our doctors at one offer came to the country recently, and somebody's country trying to take a medical practitioner out, to go work in Saudi Arabia and all of that, and a lot of doctors trooping into that centers. Why would they want to go? Because they are being owned different allowances, their salary are not, government are not playing their part. So this frustration will definitely lead to whatever anybody is experiencing at these centers. So, but we need to change the narrative. Government has to play their part. The government has to play their part. You cannot just sit at the top and just do what you want. You need to find out what are the problems this place is. It's not about building. How do we manage the ones that we have? It's not about constructing new building, new hospital walls and all that. The ones that we have in existence, how are they being managed? Can any of them sleep on the hospital beds that we have right now? Can any of them sleep in the hospital room that we still have right now? No window nets, mosquitoes everywhere. You, how many of our leaders can stay in these centers for a night? So even if the health personnel are not are not performing up to par the way we expect them to perform as a citizen at the receiving end, the government also must try to play their part, adequate part. So all of these are just for us to know the direction of this conversation. We're going to be having it hard. We're going to be having it hard, and people are going to keep coming, uh, sending their comments, and we can. Thank you. We can improve our care system in Nigeria if the government can employ top class healthcare practitioners. Yes, but we that's a good point. But I think we have good class healthcare practitioners. But the only thing I think is people are not really being treated well. Like when it comes to their statutory allowances and salaries and all that, people are not being paid well because people can work to their level of professionalism. People can work to their level of their professionalism, and it's if we have top, yes, that's another point. Like having a employed top class care practitioner, yes. Oh, now I understand where that come the comment. So bringing in people who can train people on how to disseminate their profession, the way is acceptable, is very much important. So even if the government can do it, even if the government can do it, the leadership in this healthcare center, the chief medical practitioner, chief medical, I don't know how they call it, chief medical doctor or something, CMD, I don't know how they call it, the head of those sectors can, introduce things like this. I don't know if they have it, but introduce more of this so that people can have trust in this system, so that people can keep coming over and over and over again. I remember I almost lost my finger because I don't want to go to these general hospitals. I was scared and I kept going to this private hospital. I almost lost one of my fingers. But at the end of the day, I got somebody through my mom and took me to the general hospital, and I got the best treatment ever that saved my finger. But people are gradually losing hope in the system. Everybody will just keep living with their ailments. They don't want to go there because they are scared, they are afraid. Because they are afraid. So I think at this junction, uh, we're going to be drawing the curtain. But okay, yeah, we said it. Thank you, ma'am, for your contribution. People, if Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. If you're working somewhere, you need things that can encourage you to do more. Training, seminars. Take those people up for training. Take these people up for seminars. Make them feel more important. Government has a lot of roles to play, but the problem is our government always think about the big budget to do some thing. There's some things that doesn't even need too much of budgetary allocation in bringing good personnel in the system. You know, but the floor is still open for comments, for contributions. If you want to come online, put you on the video, we can all chat for this little minute that we have to the end of the show. We can talk and talk about it. But the pool is open. What are your experiences with the healthcare system? Now, what has happened to you in the course of assessing the health services that you have in your neighborhood? So, what do you think is wrong with the healthcare system? Why are people losing faith in our health sector, and people decide to try to travel out of the country to go for medical checkup or healthcare services? So if you have the point, uh, okay, employee support staff, thank you. So it's yeah, you know, training support staff, employee support staff. These are points. You know, bringing up people who can, healthcare practitioners who can train people that we have, the personnel, the healthcare personnel that we have, in the way and manner they can treat other people, not treatment in their way of in their way of profession, on the way of their practice, but treatment based on the manner of approach, the way they talk to people, you know, the way they administer some things. I've seen places where a nurse is cussing out a patient who is unconscious. Someone is unconscious and sick, and you're saying foul words, you're saying things against, trying to make them feel bad and all of that. It's uncalled for. Even though we've mentioned what our government are doing to in not supporting the system, but we also should also talk about what we are doing to ourselves. Are we our brother's keepers? Are we doing the right thing? So the platform is open for more comment. When we talk about things that have to do with the decadence in our country, like I always said, I always feel too much emotional about it. Because when you see how things are being done in different climes, you'll be like, how are we like this? You don't need government to tell you what you need to do to your fellow human. You don't need nobody to tell you. This should be one of your human virtues. You don't need no government to teach you how to treat fellow humans. You know, but I believe with the training support, thank you, Ma, for that point. Employ support staff, training support staff, provide incentive for the healthcare workers. It's not only the healthcare workers, the teachers, the civil servant and all of that. There should be a way that we're going to prioritize the welfare of average Nigerians. The way when people die is the way we see it. We're always afraid to die, but the way we see it, when people die and it's not so close to us, we don't really care about it. We're only concerned when that individual is close to us, but when it's not close to us, we're less concerned. So we need to change these ugly narratives. It's that time we change this ugly narrative, so we can start from you. So how do you treat people that come to your hospital? How do you talk to people that come to your hospital? How do you, how do you uh, keep their data? How do you keep their information, health information? How do you keep it? Like, seeing people going to telling people about someone's health predicament and all of that. It's unprofessional. So how do you treat those information that comes to you? You know, it is something that we need to change in the society. Something that we need to change. This has nothing to do with the government. Even while we keep saying it, we keep talking about that government need to prioritize the welfare of the citizen. We still have to talk to ourselves also. How do we show care to ourselves? How do we help ourselves? How do we, be our brother's keeper? How do we present ourselves when it comes to disseminating our duty as a professional? Do we bring the emotion from home, from other places, and unleash it on our patients in the hospitals? So this and many more need to be changed. I believe by the course of the week, we're going to have people coming online to talk more. I'm not in that sector, but they're going to talk more and open up more on the decadence, what they think is happening, what we can do, the effect on the society, and going forward, what we can do to change the narratives. Because that's the purpose of this program. So identifying the problems, identifying the pains that the problem has caused in the society, and providing sustainable solutions to those problems in a way that we can handle, and then giving options to the government and advising the government on what to do to change the narratives. But in this part, we're trying to see what we can do as a patriotic Nigeria to change the narrative within ourselves. To change the narrative within ourselves, even when the funds are not coming from the government, what can we do as an individual? How can we enhance our energy, synergize all that we have, and get a better life for ourselves? So it is important. If government is not looking out for us, we have to look out for ourselves. It is important. We have to be patriotic. We have to, be our brother's keeper. But the only way we can do is to be at the hem, at the top end of our professionality. So if we can, disseminate our duty in the way that people will appreciate us, in the way that people want to come back to us for support, for care, it will go a long way. It will restore the confidence that people are losing back into the sectors. So, and this has to do with every sectors in the country, like in the educational sector, in the healthcare sector, in every sector. So we need to restore that confidence, but people are losing confidence because the set of people we have in these sectors, the way they are doing. Someone said, like I said in the beginning of this show, someone said the way a medical practitioner are investing their energy in their own private businesses is has contributed immensely to decadence in the system. But let's there's nothing bad in having your private business, but you have to, like, the primary objective, you have to disseminate that people who doesn't have money to access your own private, you shouldn't make them look bad coming to where you do your primary job. There's a lot of conversation like this surrounding all of this. We need to change this. We need to change this narrative. I cannot do it alone. I'm just advising because this is the only thing we can do for ourselves. If the government is not doing the right thing, if we keep complaining that I want to see a good turnaround in the nation and it's not forthcoming, what can we do to make life easy for ourselves? How can we assist us? This is not about giving money to each other. How can you use your profession to help others, to make people believe in the system? The system where we're losing our faith every day. How can we make the system look functioning and make it more functional? So I'm going to be drawing the curtain on today's program. I think we've had almost an hour conversation, and I want to sincerely appreciate uh, the comment coming in. And thank you so much, Ma, for being on the show and every other people that are going to join the show in the course of replay. So if you are yet to follow this channel, it's NYCPC Tv on Facebook. Just go to the page and click the follow button. We are on Instagram as NYCPC TV. We're on YouTube as NYCPC TV. And if you want to sign up to be a part of this team, you can visit our website, nycpc.org, excuse me, or oneeramovement.org. You get to the oneeramovement.org, you're going to see a platform there where you can get a support, and where you can, sign up to be one of our volunteers. So we'll be looking forward to have you with us, so we can all do this together and, change the ugly narrative of our nation. Till next Sunday, where we're going to see and discuss further. I just want to tell you to have a very wonderful week and a blessed week. Thank you, and thank you. God bless.